Hey everybody, we're in the garage yet again today. Last weekend I installed a bull bar on my Ram, and it came pre-drilled with some mounting holes for off-road lights, and I figured, hey, why not take advantage of those? And ordered a light bar, and today I'm going to do kind of a three-part video. First part, we're just going to talk about the light bar itself. Second part, I'm going to show you how to install one of these. And the part three probably won't come for a few weeks because I want to go ahead and leave this on here, see how it does, see if it leaks, things like that. It won't be long for it to rain here. I live near Houston, so it won't take long for us to find out how watertight this thing is. But let's just go ahead and take a look at the bar first and get this first part of the video done. All right, so the bar, or the light bar itself, I ordered off of eBay. It's a generic kind of cheap light bar, but it's a little bit newer of a model than a lot of them. It came with a different kind of array of LEDs than the dual rows, the older light bars. This one is a quad row, and they're kind of, I'm assuming they're a little new because they're not nearly as prevalent as the dual and tri-row light bars. And the advantage of that is that it just gives you more density of emitters in the same size bar. So the way this one is designed, and there are a couple of different designs, but this one has a pretty tightly placed row of emitters in the middle that's focused for a spot beam. And then on each end you have a pair of these wider beam LED arrays that I think it's like 150-degree flood pattern. So those should be pretty nice, and we'll see how everything looks once it's actually installed and we get a chance to see it at night. Of course, it's designed and advertised to be a sealed unit. It's got an O-ring going around the lens. I went ahead and checked the torque on all the bolts, the little hex bolts that go into the front, made sure those were nice and snug. And of course on the back you've got your cooling fins, and that's really just the gist of the center design of the tube here. This light was a really nice kit. It came with two sets of mounting brackets, so it has the ones that mount into the ends, and they just use a single hex bolt on each side to mount to the bar itself. And then on the bottom you'll have a single bolt on each side that either you'll mount to your bumper or whatever you just decide to mount this to. In my case, I'm going to mount it to the bull bar here, and that'll just be one bolt on each side. But it also included a kit, a mounting kit that included two brackets that mount in these nuts here that they slide within this channel, and that allows you to position the brackets either closer to the center or wider apart. Really, however you need it to be spaced, you can do that. I would have preferred to use those mounts, but the light bar is just a little short for the mounting holes here. So I'm going to end up using the brackets that mount on the outsides. The power cable is a really nice cable design. It's got an O-ringed, I think they call them like weather pack or something like that, kind of connector, which is really similar to a lot of the OEM plugs that you'll find under the hood. So that's a nice touch. It's a nice solid, pretty heavy gauge insulation on it. So the bar itself seems like it's going to be a pretty good bar, and I'm looking forward to getting it on here. The wiring harness that was included in the kit is actually really nice. I was quite surprised at the quality of it. I expected to get just kind of a bundle of wires that I'd have to strip and crimp and do all that stuff too. And it turns out I don't really have to do any of that. I even purchased some of this wire wrap to use on the wires because I wasn't aware that the kit came with it already installed on there, and that's a really nice touch because it's going to protect from chafing as you run the wires around different things under the hood and down through the bumper and everything. It helps protect the wires a little bit. So it came with a nice relay holder, and of course the relay that goes into the holder. It's a nice little setup there. Everything looks nice and clean. The wires coming out of the relay are heat shrink tubed, and then it goes into this wire loom kind of tube that helps protect the actual wires themselves. The battery connections are here. The wire gauge seemed a little small to me, and I was kind of worried about that, but I did a test connection, just hooked it up to the battery before I installed all of it, you know, and ran the bar for about 10 minutes, and the wires didn't get even warm. So, you know, even though they are a smaller gauge, I don't think there's hopefully not going to be any real risk there with the current in this gauge of wire. So you've got your positive and your negative battery terminal connectors. You got a 30 amp fuse and a nice little holder included in the kit. So this all wires into the relay, and then coming out of the relay, you have about a 6-foot cable that is all again protected in that that tubing, and you've got the male end of that O-ring waterproof connector there, and the last wire that comes out. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably an 8-foot wire that runs to a nice little clicky type of switch to go in the cab. And I do like that it comes with an LED indicator on the switch itself. It's got a red light and a green light, red when it's off, green when it's on. That's a cool little touch. And they even included the sticky tape to mount it to the inside of the cab, so that's cool. I don't have to worry about that. It's a small touch, but it was kind of a nice thing, because as you're trying to get all this together, having to run to the store to get things if you forget them or whatever, it's just nice to have this harness be truly ready to go right out of the box. It comes with some mounting hardware that'll work for most applications, but I had to go to Lowe's to pick up some longer bolts and some washers and things to help with kind of a more specific mount to this bull bar, and that was like $3 for all the bolts and nuts and stuff. That wasn't a big deal. Everything else is ready to go, and I'm pretty excited to get it in here. So let's get started on the installation, and we'll move on to part 2.